All right, so we are starting on Ready to Jam. Starting on. All right, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram.
And we're live on Instagram.
Hello!
I can't help myself. I just have to do something stupid at the start.
Some jazz hands beginning thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Welcome. Thank you for joining us this Thursday as we talk about
the Kenway, which was originally called the Kenway, and then it was called the
we got
Eagle for a
do
while.
not cease and desist letter.
Not deceased. Deceased and desist.
Cease
You will be deceased letter.
They put a hit out on us, and then we named the code something different, and the hit went away.
We avoided it. Yeah, it was all fine.
Yeah.
So then it was called the Eagle for a while, and now it is called the Kenway again because it is officially licensed.
It's a brand new thing,
It is a brand new thing.
but it is very reminiscent of both.
It is. It was. I completely rebuilt the pattern from scratch.
Yeah.
It looks the same
So
because I'm good at what I do.
yeah.
Um,
So when you say you rebuilt the
That's no
pattern
problem.
from scratch, what's different about the Eagle and the Kenway? What are the major changes that have happened over the course of the pattern rebuild?
so we've been through a few iterations of this particular design, but it's been. I think the last time we ran this was in 2018.
Yeah,
We made the last
final
run.
Eagle.
And,
it was the final Eagle. I
and we
would say.
really
Now it's the Kenway.
we don't lie when we say it's the last time this will ever happen. But that at that point, our grading was pretty good, and our patterns were, they were good. We'd been doing this for we'd been doing this for 6 years at that point, and now we've been in business for 10 years. This is the 10-year anniversary of the original.
Anniversary,
The 10-year codiversary
which is a dorky thing to say, but here we are, being dorks.
of the original sort of announcement of the Kenway. We've learned quite a lot over that time about how to cut patterns, how to cut a jacket that looks really good on somebody and has good mobility and all this stuff. So we have,
So what's different?
when I say I completely rebuilt the pattern, even though it looks the same, I started from our current base cut of our coats and rebuilt it in with our current grading and our current exact shapes that we use. So this will fit like the Shogun or like the, or
The Son of Sparta.
the Son of Sparta, like those things. So they're minor changes. They're things that you won't be able to see, but I know about because they're really.
So you've made improvements in the fit.
I made improvements in the fit.
Yeah. What else?
I did make improvements to the way the tails fall. They are slightly further out at the bottom than they were in the last run, which is more in line with how I wanted to do it for the jacket in the first place. I changed basically the proportions of these pieces.
Can I just show the
Yes.
folded up version?
So they are unbuttoned right now.
So one of the most amazing things about this coat is really that you can use it in so many different ways, right? I think that's really what makes Volante special in certain moments, is that we do design things as often as possible to function in a number of different ways.
Are you gonna do
So
that?
the angle
Okay.
is a little sharper, is what you're saying?
The angle's a little sharper, and it's. I want to say it's slightly more flared out.
Like a more swallowtail.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, sure. It's hard to describe because I know it so well, and like the words that I have for it are not the same as the sort of vision that I have for it.
Mm-hmm. Do your best. What's different?
Well, I felt like the last time we made this, it was a little bit straight. It looked very straight from top to bottom, even though it's fitted in the waist. It was like somehow really straight, which is partly because it was a little bit more straight down at the bottom. So I made this feel a little bit wider, which makes mobility better in terms of like leg movement and stuff like that. But it also just, the silhouette is a little bit more of that assassin silhouette, which is a little bit like a sharp or a very, very, very a straight hourglass.
Yeah.
They tend to be sort of larger on the shoulders, and then narrow in the waist.
Clear defined waist.
Clear
Yep.
defined waist, and then a sort of very
Something,
out and then back in at the bottom.
some skirting. Type.
Yeah, some skirt.
I think you've changed the way the epaulets fall as well. The way
Yeah.
the placement of them.
The whole shape of the shoulder is different.
So you really changed the shape of the shoulder.
Yeah. I just want to mention, every time I change anything about this jacket from here down, I have to redo math for every single size. Because the tail folds, as the jacket gets bigger around, the angle of this fold changes, which means that as you're folding, I'm trying to show this. This is big.
Yeah. So as you're folding.
So as you're folding along this line, because it's a straight line, if this angle changes like this, that means the angle from this point to the corner at the bottom has to change to match it for every single size on a very specific level.
Okay, so basically a lot of trigonometry.
It's
geometry,
crazy
like,
trigonometry
I can't do
because
it.
it is because it spans like 5 different pieces to go all the way around to the front of the jacket. To do that in a way that really works.
This is something, when you get our comparison video, that the knockoff Eagle will never succeed at. Has never succeeded at. The tails always look like garbage.
Because they pull out funny because
Respectfully, they look like garbage.
I don't think you have to be respectful. I think it's fine.
They knocked off our design. And
with all due respect, it looks like complete trash.
Yeah.
Which it means that there's no respect due to knockoffs.
So you rebuilt the shoulder. Did
Yep.
you rebuild the cuff? Is there anything new about that, or is that really similar to what it was before?
I rebuilt the way that we did the lining in the cuff. This shape is the same, and the way that we construct it is a little bit different. Because we've learned a lot of stuff about doing corners like this, which was a complete nightmare when we first released the jacket. But we've had to get good at it because it has been our most popular jacket over the years. But now we have a much better way of doing it.
So you made it more effective to make.
I did. Yes, a little.
So,
yeah.
Let me ask a couple of questions
Sure.
that from viewers.
I know I went right into the weeds there.
Well, then I'll let you can swap to the other colorway and the other fabric, and then you can finish talking about the differences. So one of the questions we have is from Demon Hunter Neil. So we're not doing customs again.
Yep.
We're not going to open
That
customs again.
hasn't suddenly come back.
So we're not going to be opening customs again. But in the past, there were custom versions of the Eagle. Is that correct?
That's true.
Right.
Okay.
There were
So
buttoning versions. There were color options. We did brocade eagles. We did eagles with different
Different
kinds of hoods.
or different kinds of cuffs or different kinds of anything. We did crazy stuff.
cool.
So if you get one of those, if you have one of those, count yourself among the very few lucky.
So Ish Hernandez, I think it's an I, not a 1. One of the coolest accessories to complement the Kenway was the pinion. So
Cool.
they're asking about a licensed version of the pinion, but could you maybe tell us a little bit about? It's on the museum page. What is it? What was the pinion?
So at the time we released the pinion, it was inspired by one of the character designs for Arno from Unity.
Cool.
But it was this sort of shoulder thing that attached to
Like a little mini cape.
a mini cape, shoulder sort of about that long. Basically, the part that is the hood for the Cormac,
Yeah.
just that hood and the sort of shoulder portion was what the pinion was.
It was a cool look, absolutely.
It was cool, and it was because at the time we had the Harrier, we had the Eagle, we had the Washington, and I think it would even work on the Time Agent, but
Yeah, so you
that
could
meant
put it on
this
all
this
the other
button right here was in the same place for all of those designs. So this was a jacket that was or a sort of waterproof
add-on.
wax canvas add-on that would work for like half of our product collection at the time. So you could buy it and sort of add to a product that you already had.
Cool. Next question. Did we ever or could we sell extra buttons?
So yeah, we will send you a button if you buy this product and you need a button. We will be happy to send you a button. We don't sell buttons unless you've bought a coat.
Yeah.
It comes as a we will take care of you if you are our customer.
However,
thing.
if you really wanted to, I bet we could send you 12 buttons. If you asked, we could figure out a way to do that if you wanted to add buttonholes and buttons to the front of
I'm
it.
assuming that might have been what.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because then you could zip this up, mark where you want your buttons to be, and then just add them in yourself, put buttonholes. And that would be your own thing. That would be totally
Do
doable.
it at your own risk.
But
You
then,
will no
but then
longer.
when it's zipped, you would also have to button all of the buttons. You could zip it both sides and still button all.
I think if you're sewing buttons, you're probably okay with having to do the extra steps.
Exactly. But
Okay.
it's
There's
it's,
no reason to put buttonholes. You could just sew the buttons on the exterior at that point.
yeah. But then if you close it this way, then the buttons will be on the
It's gotta
inside.
be functional.
Come on,
Sorry.
you've got to do it the right way.
All right, I got more questions. I got so many questions. I have two questions about is the inside of the blue panel waxed as well?
Yes.
Yes, this portion is waxed as well.
So how
It
far
will not get off on your clothes, though. It will not come off on
how
you.
far in does the waxing go?
It goes right basically to the line where
So
the
like about 4 inches.
but almost exactly this much. It's the same amount on the other side.
Okay. And then the other question was, will wax ever come to the New York colorway? So we have kind of an answer for colorways, which is perhaps, but I think maybe a more interesting question to answer is, what are the choices that led to choosing wax for our certain colorways that we have, and then what are the logistics of thinking about doing wax in other colors?
So we probably won't do the New York and waxed. You could probably wax your New York Eagle.
Yep.
But the red just isn't that sexy in the wax canvas. It doesn't
It's
suit the true
not a
red and
assassin
black.
red.
It doesn't really do the assassin thing we want it to.
Yeah.
So we are, in order to do the black and red, which is a really popular color scheme and one that's really great looking, we had to do a mix of materials. We also wanted to offer a slightly less expensive one and a slightly more elevated one so that you could really choose your fighter.
Yeah, this one is really a celebration of
Yeah, the original.
the original design. It was a way of making it, bringing back extra. I think we knew that if we were bringing it back with the license, we wanted to do the white and blue version.
Yeah, the revolutionary.
And white or light colors like this work much better if it's a waterproof material. So we were just like, this is the perfect sort of combination of all of these elements.
Not to mention the regimental uniforms it's based on would often have been wool or would have been
Waxed.
sometimes waxed,
Yeah.
even waxed wool, because they were worn by soldiers in the field and horseback riding. The tails also were meant to fold up so that if you were kneeling with your musket, you would have access and you wouldn't fall over your coat, or if you were horseback riding, that could be moved out of the way. So this is really was originally a very functional concept, and we've really made it fashion and are playing with the lines of it in another way.
How do you expect the color of the light wax to change as it wears? Will it lighten? Will it darken? Should it stay about the
Change it
same?
all.
It may lighten a
Okay.
bit. It may lighten a bit, yeah. Most of the wax that I've used, once the first top coat of wax does come off, it does. I mean, you can see even here where I've been wearing it, and it's a little bit lighter than here where my elbow doesn't bend.
Yeah. No,
or,
but
or my arm is straight all the time.
significantly from that variation that already exists.
Yeah, no, it's a very slight change, and it'll be true on the blue as well, but not like any more than whatever you see when you start.
Like that.
Yeah. And even that, this is
And
the creases that you see are actually sort of more of a concentration of wax, and they're not the color underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
You want to swap coats and
yeah, let's see another color.
talk a little more about some changes?
So you may know this if you already have this product, but it has 2 inside pockets and 2 outside pockets. All the buttons are functional and real, so you can take the cuffs down. We often have seen people wear it one button lower on the cuff if they have longer arms than the pattern allows for.
Or one button up, you can fold
You
it
can
up.
shorten it up a little. So if your arm length is not exactly as long as David Volante's arm length, we're trying to give you some options.
So, sorry, we have quite a few questions. So now that you've got a non-wax version on, before we move off of wax completely, this canvas is waxed at the factory.
That's right.
What is the process of home waxing? Because it is possible.
Yes.
Labor intensive, however.
Yes.
Yeah, especially on a coat this big.
Yes.
But basically, it's
I would start by taping off the seams you don't want waxed. So if you don't want to wax all the way inside into your inside pocket, I would put like painter's tape or fabric tape along the places where you don't want to wax. Sort of like if you were gonna get ready to paint a room, you would tape off, or you would
So you can go a little bit beyond it.
or you can use a paintbrush if you're really precise. But with wax, it's not that easy because you're gonna apply it with a cloth, like a rough piece of a rag or something like that.
And just rub the wax into the fabric.
It's a lot like polishing a good pair of shoes. You would rub the polish on, you would wait a certain period of time, and then you would blow dry it to set it. There are videos about how to do this on our website.
Jeremiah just did this with his boots.
Yep. And blow drying it just like helps the wax absorb really well, and then any extra you would wipe off with like a clean rag again.
You heat up the wax.
It's gonna take a
it
long
melts
time.
a little bit. It melts into the fabric a little bit, and then that really sets nicely.
So you're not heating the wax up separately, just to be clear. You're heating up with the blow dryer after you've applied it at room temperature.
And so cleaning of wax canvas involves not heating it.
Correct.
It just
Basically
involves,
wiping it down.
you're basically just wiping it down.
Cool. So we have a couple more questions, but do you want to talk a little bit about this guy for the colorway? So what colorways is it offered in?
So we have Revolutionary,
You
the
just saw.
sort of white and blue. Then we had Roman Gilded Onyx, which was
Ooh.
not in the original Assassin's Creed 3 game, but
But
it's
it's so
such a good
cool.
color scheme that we had to do it. And then we have the Charleston, which is this one, inspired by the color of the same name in the game, and the New
Where's
York
the original?
and New York color scheme,
Inspired
also
by-
named after the black and red color scheme in the game. Which we've done black and red. We have plenty of names for black and red, but this time it felt like if we were going to do it, we might as well call it what it was in the game.
Yeah.
Because all of the color schemes in that game were named after pivotal colonial
Places.
America cities.
So what's good about the brushed cotton?
So I think this. So the
Why
two
would you choose
non-wax-
this over that if you didn't like the color? Like if color wasn't an option.
Hold still for just. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to give a little texture.
Sure.
So if you didn't care about the color, why would you order? Or like, what's better about this?
Aside from the difference in price point, if you
Mhm.
don't want the wax, you can't afford the wax or whatever, this is slightly less. I do think that it's at that point it's relatively. It's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. I think that this one, if you don't like the smell of wax,
I don't think it has a strong smell. I think this one is more breathable.
yeah, this one is more breathable.
I think it's a little
bit cooler.
softer. It's going to be a little bit more conforming to your body.
Mm-hmm. It's a little more.
It feels a little more.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's like a little more comfy.
Although the wax canvas ones over time will soften up from when you first
Yeah,
get them.
true.
But they don't have any like stretch. Whereas cotton without wax will kind of like a good pair of jeans. You kind of like break it in.
I also really like, so the main material in this is a brushed bull denim. So it's really heavy.
Yeah.
It's actually very similar in weight to the wax canvas. The wax canvas is a lighter weight material, but with the wax it is heavier. So it still has a really good body and structure to it. But the brushed material, it has this, I think Jeremiah's going to do it, but it has this really nice hand to it. It feels nice. It's like kind of soft.
Mhm.
And I also think it has a little bit of texture to it. You can see it's like there's some light threads in it and stuff. I think that is really kind of traditional.
Yeah.
Or, it's kind of reminiscent of what the sort of color value that you would have seen in a traditional Revolutionary War uniform.
Yeah, because if it was wool, it would not have been super uniform.
It wouldn't have been one color.
It would have been a lot softer. There would be more variation.
Couple more questions.
Yeah.
So will the Cormax hooded shoulder accessory fit on the Kenway then?
Snaps, buttons. 2 systems.
Okay, but
Okay, but
there are no snaps on the back of this, but the buttons theoretically could work.
Huh.
I don't know if we have.
We don't have one. We
don't
sent
have
it to
one.
yeah.
they went to rent to the rent.
We'll have to test that out.
Possible. Interesting concept.
Yeah. Theoretically, it is possible. It
Okay.
may not fit exactly right, but it might work.
I have a couple more. Someone is very excited. Dramatic Silhouette's very excited to see Willow.
Oh, hello. Yes,
Oh my gosh, it's Willow.
I am here too still.
I'm hiding
So
off camera most of the time.
Well, I'm not standing very much at the moment.
Yes.
the Swift Shadow has wanted to know how your facial hair always looks so legendary. But also was asking about a mist cloak. I don't know what that means.
We do.
I'm kidding. I do know what that is.
Someday we'll get you to read Sanderson.
Does the Kenway ship worldwide or only to the U.S.? Because it used to not ship worldwide.
When it was the Eagle, it shipped worldwide, but our Assassin's Creed license used to be U.S. only, and now it is worldwide again.
Yes. So the answer is yes. This will ship worldwide.
Yes.
You
can have it, even if you live in Turkey or wherever. Yes.
Turkey's an option. It's
What?
possible.
What's
You
wrong with
can't-
Turkey?
Technically, you can't have it if you live in Cuba or Russia. There's like some
There's some weird exclusions.
There's some very specific exclusions thanks to Ubisoft. Most of them,
Okay.
I imagine, would make sense.
You can't have them from North Korea. I know that.
That's right.
Okay.
You probably won't be watching the stream in North Korea
Yeah.
anyway. I'm
Fair.
sorry, but it's true.
So yes, it ships worldwide with very few exceptions.
So this colorway seems awfully popular.
Mhm.
Someone said it's going to be their color when they purchase one. On Monday.
I love this one. I think it's it's much more understated than the other ones. It is, and well, except for maybe the
Is it your favorite? Which one's your favorite?
Probably between this and Roman Gilded Onyx.
I have to be I'm Roman Gilded Onyx. It's my ride or die.
We just sent it out today, so we don't have that one here.
I just think they both look really good. I like blue.
Yeah.
Matches the colored jeans that I like wearing.
So the epaulets are reversible?
Yes.
You know what?
Do they have different colors on both sides?
It's crazy. But yes, they absolutely are.
Okay. So someone asking, is there a color scheme that you would recommend flipping them, or are they designed to be worn with the matching color?
They're kind of designed to be worn with them. You could have a brown accent or a blue accent. So
Right.
you could swap them around, I guess, if you want. If you have lots of Kenways.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
Do red epaulets on the. If you really wanted to do a very American flaggy thing, I think you could do the New York color scheme with the Revolutionary, and you'd be.
With some red epaulets on.
You'd be ready. We could also you could make little holes in a flag and then have a flag cape behind you. Options are endless.
Wow. Don't give away all of our great design ideas.
You heard it here first. Flag cape coming soon.
Trademarked now.
So what is the difference between this?
July 4th, 2020.
What's the difference between this denim and the ripstop cotton that's used in more other Assassin's Creed items?
Super different weight.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing.
Totally different class of density.
Yeah, but also ripstop is a sort of
Tactical material.
box weave, and this is a twill, and a twill has a bit of stretch on the diagonal because of the way that the actual threads are
So
woven.
whaling goes up and down.
So
whaling is the actual weave of the fabric, right?
Yeah.
It's this
So
striping.
would it be possible to make something like this out of ripstop, or it just would not be comfortable?
Oh no, it's possible. It just wouldn't be.
The question was about why choose this fabric over another?
It doesn't have
I
the
think-
same.
Gravitas.
It's
Yeah.
exactly the word I was
I
going
saw the G forming on your lips. It doesn't have the same gravitas because it's a much lighter material. It creases. It's sort of like wearing a linen suit versus a wool suit, right? Like the linen suit is never going to be crispy,
Yeah.
like the wool suit could be. If you press the wool suit, it'll be you'll look like a mobster from the 50s, and everything will be
Or
great.
James Bond,
Or
whatever good suit you want to think of.
Right. Well, I don't know why I think of New York mobsters. That's my suit reference point.
There's
I don't know what that says.
so many good suits in the world.
Oh, because you're married to one, honestly. That's funny.
So many good suits in the world. Whereas the linen suit, even what I'm wearing.
It looks
linen,
more relaxed.
It's never gonna be creamy and smooth. Whereas this will fall creamy and smooth. That's what I got to say about fabric. Don't get me started if you don't want weird fabric
To
descriptions.
make this out of a jacket out of a material that is normally used as a windbreaker or something of that level of sort of style, there is, I swear, the largest housefly I have ever seen flying around today. It is crazy.
It is pretty honking.
Yeah, sorry, it's
Maybe I'll own to. Maybe you've only ever seen small ones the rest of your life.
Beelzebub.
It's true.
Beelzebub come to. Excuse me.
Yeah, sorry. When it hits the wall, it just it's like a
We're talking about the fly still?
a fly.
Yeah, here's the one with fly.
It's crazy. It's like someone shooting airsoft at the wall. It's just like.
Okay,
Anyway,
bring it back.
yes. I think we've even made one of stuff at some point.
I think we've made some custom ones out of weird materials, and like there's nothing wrong with that. I think we were just looking for that really smooth look.
Yeah.
So,
The
the wax
weight to
it's crinklier. Like you can see the crinklierness, and it's a different look.
Yeah, Drew H said that they've had an Eagle for 9 years, but they're excited to see the wax canvas.
Yeah.
It's a cool.
It's nice to have something different.
Yeah, and we wanted to bring something a little new to it as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Someone did notice the other main difference between this one and the old version is the old version. This piece right here was an accent color.
And why do we change that?
Because it's not that color in the game.
Ah, okay. So whenever you see knockoff, this is how we used to know that knockoffs were of us and not of the game.
Right.
Was that
It's 'cause we
little
did that one
strip?
accent color, and they all followed that design. They also completely miss like a bunch of seams because
Well, that's different.
the original photos that they based it on and that they stole from us were really blown out, so you couldn't see the seams because we were not really good at.
I think we took that photograph in the yard next to your house.
Yep.
You were one of several roommates, and what was great before we lived together.
So we just cut all the background out.
Yeah.
So.
And so all those pictures on the internet are of David in his backyard, and I photographed him on what I think was the shittiest of cameras at the time.
It did the trick.
I think it was a student.
Clearly,
It was a student camera.
Clearly, it did the trick. We got plenty of attention just for those photos.
That's true.
Texas Ren Fair. Kenway gonna be there?
Kenway's gonna be there.
Yes.
There are some samples that went out today, so you can see them short term, and then in the next week, 2 weeks,
We should be getting more of them. We should be getting them
They're
in,
gonna
and then we're gonna send.
fulfilling orders, and then sending some extra to Texas.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of stuff over at Texas. The first couple of weeks will be a little bit lighter, but by the time we get to, November, it should have most of what we plan on bringing with us.
Yeah.
So Texas Renaissance Festival is running from what dates?
From now all the way until Black Friday weekend / Thanksgiving weekend, or whatever you call that weekend. It's the last weekend in November, and it's happening every weekend, and we are booth
71.
Yes, I was going to say
271.
77, but 271. We're right in the front kind of segment.
Yeah.
Go say hi to Robin and Brian and Misty. They will be nice to you and put you in a coat.
Yeah.
And
Our whole booth is assassin white, so
and red, so you really shouldn't have no
assassin
problem.
white implies red is included in the
Oh,
cost.
excuse me. Pardon my ignorance.
It is white with red trim. We have a big fancy sign.
Yeah.
So there's Volante on it. We have a big square hanging sign hanging off the side of our booth so you can see it.
Nice.
They did a really good job, and it looks really cool.
Any other pertinent Kenway information people should know?
It's
You
available
should
now
order
for
this
pre-order.
because it's also part of the Assassin's Creed 15 collection. So if you order the Assassin's Creed, anything from our Assassin's Creed 15 collection, you get sort of a limited edition labeled piece that's sort of this year's
We didn't put the
special
label in any of these.
15th edition, 15th anniversary version because it's the 15th anniversary of Assassin's Creed existing and the 10-year anniversary of this game. And you also will be entered for a custom rook, which we really don't do custom work anymore, so that's your chance.
Yep.
And you also are entered into the sweepstakes for the Ubisoft giveaway.
You
which-
automatically get a free gift whenever you buy one of these Assassin's Creed.
Right, so that might be a mouse pad. There are lots of cool gifts from other partners and sponsors that you will get a code for, and you'll see you could win a trip to Montreal.
Yeah. Or
There's some
very
sweet
least,
prizes.
some cool in-game gear.
Yeah, so you should order this because then if we produce this again, it will not come with those perks.
Yeah.
What are the prices?
This one's $6.25, and the wax one is $6.95.
Which is not too far away from what the last run of the Eagle actually cost.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah.
But not a large margin.
I believe the last one of the Eagle was
$4.25.
so it's quite a bit different. The world is quite different.
I mean, it's been a multiple years. We had some people at New York Comic Con telling us that they paid close to $500. Theirs.
I think there was $4.95 after a certain price change. You know,
Yeah.
there were various step-ups in price, and the Eagle's been with us for so long that it has seen a lot of prices and a lot of things change.
Yeah, that's right. Those original custom ones that we sold, the very first custom ones we sold were $325.
$45. $45.
$45.
$3, $4, $5.
Still, I mean, appreciation-wise, $200, $250 over the course of 10 years. That's not that. That's a
No,
pretty,
that's
good, pretty good bargain, honestly. Like,
Yep.
I wanted to shout out to the Discord. Somebody sent me tea. I think it was Teresa. Thank you. It's very sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah. Just came in today. I'll show it to you.
I didn't know about that.
There's some tea. I'll show it to you.
How exciting.
Yeah, with a little cute note.
It's too bad I don't drink tea, but I'll try.
I drink tea. Thank you. I'll enjoy it.
It will not go unappreciated here.
Yep.
What
Anything else? What's new? That's exciting. TRF, the Eagle, Assassin's Creed 15th.
one final thing. So this is launching as a contender. So it will be available for purchase.
Yeah, so it's pre-order now, just because we wanted to. The timing of releasing it now was great because it's
Yep.
close to the 10-year anniversary. But we are still finishing up the actual production, but
Yeah.
the production has begun already.
Yeah, they're cut. They're sewing them now.
Yeah, so they will ship in a few weeks.
So we made about 150 of them this batch. So just so you know, like that means in each size there are, 4 to 5 depending on how big how popular the size is. Obviously, we try and make more in popular sizes and less popular sizes. But
Yeah.
it's not perfect math. And we went straight to contender because it's a product we really tested and tried, and we weren't
It knows what it's
kind of
doing.
wondering, about it.
Yeah.
We're not refining it any further. I mean, we are making little tweaks that make it like that much better,
Okay.
but it's not like, is this a concept that
Yeah,
people might
No,
like?
no, this is a proven concept.
Thank you so much for joining us this live stream. We always love hearing your questions. We love having you in our audience. If you want to chat with us some more, you can join us on the Discord.
If there were any burning questions that didn't get answered on the live stream, come and ask them on the Discord, and we'll answer them there.
Likely, our community might answer them. We might answer
Even
them.
before we get there.
Our staff might answer them. There's